Hello and welcome back to the channel. With me today is Clayton and Moloto, and we will be discussing. Sorry, it's been a long day already in the morning, but we will be discussing the Champions League game against RB Leipzig. Now, if any of you don't know Leipzig, I don't really blame you, but they were semi-finalists last season in the Champions League. They have been around for like 9 years, so they're a very controversial German team, because of obviously the money that's been put behind this team, and the players they did have. Obviously, they don't have the likes of Timo Werner, obviously, where's at Chelsea. But yeah, Leipzig is a very interesting team, because they did have a lot of talent. Obviously, without Werner, they don't have as much, what can I say, striking power than when they did have Werner. But we'll start off with Clayton, because Clayton, this is actually your team. You love RB Leipzig. There, I love Upamecano. You love Upamecano. It's a centre back we would love at Manchester United. There's some very talented boys at Leipzig. So yeah, Clayton, tell us about Leipzig.
So, as you said, they're a bit controversial in Germany, admittedly, but weird enough, the standard German teams have never really stood out that much to me. So I went RB Leipzig as soon as I found out about them, found out about the style of play, and they're just, it's kind of Bielsa-like, but not as high intensity on the press or when they're out of possession. But the similarities would lie on how they shift the ball, just where they shift it. Their positional awareness is always really good, and it felt like they got the best out of their players that they had. Nagelsmann's a really, really good coach. He only started recently, but he's already considered one of the best at his age, especially. And it looked like he was a United job after he went out to the semi-finals to PSG. So RB Leipzig have a lot going for them. They have a very young, youthful team, and they're also still very strong despite losing Timo Werner in the summer.
Yeah, I know. Just before you give your thoughts, because I'll relate to what I'll ask you. Obviously, you can give me your thoughts on Leipzig in general, but if you talk about the manager, Nagelsmann, very young, but his style of football is very attractive. Clearly, it definitely is. It works. They are talented. They are talented players at Leipzig, but they're not these world-renowned players around across the globe. Where if I go to my neighbor and I mention someone like a Poulsen, or I mentioned someone like Upamecano, they all know. They're not these world-class names, but they definitely have the potential to be, a top-class talent. They all have very good potential. But the manager, very attractive football, like I said, clearly made Champions League final. And I know lots of United fans that if Oli were to get the sack and things, and we were to get any manager, lots of people would say, get someone like a Nagelsmann. He's very young, up and coming. He hasn't. It's not like his whole project was Leipzig. There's a bigger picture. He can still be like our manager. So people, it's an interesting move for United fans if that were to become our manager after Oli, if Oli did get the sack. But Moloto, let's ask you. What do you think of Leipzig in general? But more specifically, what do you think about Nagelsmann? Because we know you love your certain managers. So yeah, let's get your thoughts on Nagelsmann and just Leipzig in general.
Yeah, no, he's always been number 3 in my list of people I want to manage United right now, with number 1 being at the club. Shout out for Oli. So yeah, I did a review show on the Bundesliga a few months back, and I had to do a bit of research on him and I'm forgetting the team now, Leipzig, and he's a really good manager, tactically inclined. His team, they don't play one playing style. He's very tactically inclined, but from what I saw, he's not the type of manager to play one playing style game in, game out. He's very adaptive, and he can get the best out of his players. And not that they're horrible players though. They've got Sabitzer, they've got Poulsen, they've got Christian Nkunku, so they've got decent players, and they are the type of team that could trouble us. They are. It's going to be us to fix what we've been doing, and yeah, no, they're a good team.
Yeah, I mean, Clayton, before we recorded, obviously he said that because he likes Leipzig, he said also Leipzig are unbeaten. This is what, since this season, Clay, or since PSG?
Yeah,
since PSG.
Since PSG, they haven't lost a game.
Since PSG, they haven't lost a game. But so if you ask that person listening to that, you can listen to that and be like, okay, what obviously that doesn't look good for United, but the stat was PSG never ever lost a Champions League game at home for I don't know how many years, 10 years, and then boom.
Stats break all the time. We would know as United fans.
Yeah, we will. So if you can look at it, you get how you want to perceive that stat is up to you completely. Up much into it because, like I said, on the day United beats anyone in it. Like United on the day when everyone's firing, we can beat anyone. So that it is. But speaking about this game specifically, Manchester United versus Leipzig, we are playing at home. Our home form has been very, very, very concerning. Very concerning.
Terrible.
I don't think we've won at home yet, unless I'm mistaken. We haven't won.
4 losses and 1 draw, isn't it?
I do it.
I think it's something like that.
It was Newcastle. No, Newcastle wasn't even at home, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Spurs was at home, pretty sure.
Oh, let's not.
Crystal Palace was at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 losses in a row. There you go.
So there we go. That's our home form. We're struggling at home. The theatre of dreams. We're supposed to be a fortress. Back when Sir Alex was here, no one came to Old Trafford and got anything.
Yeah.
Like this, it was locked down. The fortress locked down. Now it's like 3 points up for sale. Just come by, take it, and leave. That's what it seems like. And we've got 2 home games in a row. We've got Leipzig and then we've got Arsenal. So it's very important. Ollie and Manchester United get a result at home against RB Leipzig. Our home form is very concerning. Hopefully that can change. But let's talk about the game, because me personally, if I look at it, I think a lot of this game depends on the team selection Ollie puts forward against Leipzig. And it's a very weird thing because we'll get to the predicted lineups and things, but there are certain players who have to play, deserve to start that game, who haven't been playing, and I think there's certain, they're very insane players that need some resting. I think they've been doing very well, but I think you're asking a lot now. They had Champions League and they played on the weekend. Now you're asking them to play another game, and it's very quick. There's not much recovery, so I would also be looking for certain rotation amongst a few players, but that's just me. Rest certain players, how would you guys approach it? Let's start off with Clayton.
Well, I first have to say this. Ollie has no clue how to rest a player. That we've never ever seen him rest a player in his life. So I doubt we're actually going to see a second team at this rate. But personally, I would go with some kind of blended team. I would make a mix and match, see what I can pull off with what we have available.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. I don't completely like it, but I can agree with that because it is only the second game of the Champions League, and we have Arsenal on the weekend. So I think a blended team is not a bad idea.
And Bruno pulls his hamstring in the 90th minute against RB Leipzig. It's all over.
No, it's not true. That doesn't happen. But that's what I was getting, because I'll get to the predicted lineup. But for me, Bruno Fernandes is one player I'm not starting against Leipzig. That for sure. I'm not starting Bruno against Leipzig. I think it's too risky.
I can see that.
I think it's too risky. I think even the Chelsea game, it started to look like Bruno. He did well. He still did very well. But he did some sort of rest. My guy, he's usually worth 5 days rest. This guy is not living on like what 2 days, 3 days rest, depending on when they train. So it's I think Bruno also. I think he is one of the players who needs to rest. I think there's a certain few more, but I'll get there. But I think for me personally, Bruno is the big name who I would rest.
Yeah.
And even if things, let's just say, do hit the fan, to bring on a player like Bruno, that's when it's going to change the game.
That's an impact.
Because like it or not, when Bruno Fernandes is on that pitch, the majority of almost everything goes through Bruno Fernandes. But I also think it's time for certain players to step up. And they look like they could step up. And the reason why we brought them into this team is so they can step up. Need to play in this game.
Not die on
and
bench.
and not die on bench. So we haven't know we talked about this Donny Van de Beek. But it's not just Donny. We'll get to Donny. But yeah, I have faith. I have faith in certain players who was on the bench against Chelsea to go out and win that game still, irrespective of who we're playing. I still think they possess the qualities to go and beat, big teams. So yeah, that's just my opinion. So I think we are blessed for once. We don't have that many injuries in terms of midfield and attack to actually rotate and have still quality players on the field. So that's just where I am.
Look, I think we do need to rotate because, as you said, that's the reason we bought the players, and especially Donny Van de Beek. Because what's the point of having him if we're not going to play him in games like this? So I don't think he will rest, but I do think it's a game we should play him in. But it's the start of the season. I don't think tiredness would be a problem right now. for me, I feel like we need to learn to play like a big team. It just seems like we don't know how to do that. After digesting everything, it just seems like we don't know how to hold the ball and dominate a game. And we can sit back and counter because that's pretty straightforward. And I'm not saying it's less of a tactic. No, it has places where it works. And I feel like we were able to kind of hold the ball against Newcastle. It was bloody Newcastle. But we need to learn to set up and be dominant because we have the players to do that. And I think that's the big problem with our home form right now. That's the big problem. And Ole needs to work on that. Because
I think it's also the team selection. That's what I also think. Because we need to start getting some of these, big name quality players onto our starting 11. So many of them are just sitting on the bench recently. So yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's very important for me, that team selection that Ollie puts out. I don't want to take it too far, but that team selection, let's just say he played the one against Chelsea, the one against Newcastle, with James and Mata, and if we still somehow win, I'll be disappointed, because I know that team in the long term, highly inconsistent and can't be trusted. They might pull a result out of their ass now and then when they need it, but I can't trust them. I won't trust Daniel James. I won't. I can't.
That reminds me. It came out that Ollie said that Dan James is very high of confidence right now, and he's just really high spirited after that game. And I would put it past him to.
That's what I'm worried about, because it seems like Ollie and the coaching staff are picking the players who live off their ass in training. Actually, they're talented ballers, proper footballers, not these guys who won the golden ticket in a chocolate bar to play at Manchester United. That's what's very worrying.
Look, I feel like with Greeno, there's a reason. Maybe there's not complete disclosure, but there's a reason. So I give him the benefit of the doubt there, and I do think Greeno will eventually get back into the team. With Fred McTominay, I feel like he was looking for a response after we lost 6-1, and that's okay. But he needs to integrate the top players back into the team eventually.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Because we need them. And at the same time, yes, he picks them for the tenacity that Fred and McTominay have, but he needs to look at his tactics as well, and he needs to work on that. We can't just keep playing on the counter the whole season. It's not going to work. We need to have a different element to our game, and Ole needs to fix that.
Yeah, I agree. So it'll be very interesting because we'll do our predicted 11s. I think there'll be a lot of talking points because I'm very intrigued to see what you guys would do. Let's say what we would do, right? Not what Ollie's gonna do. We'll obviously say what Ollie's gonna do. But let's just say what we would like to see against Leipzig, right? We'll start off with formations. Personally, right? Personally, I don't want to lose my head. Actually, I'll go last. Click, go first. I need you to think. I want to make sure I'm putting out that lineup.
Okay. I think I'd like to see something similar to the PSG formation, so probably close to the 5 at the back. Okay. And then we can get the best out of Taylor's, we can get the best out of Shaw, and those are the big positives of the 5 at the back for us. In the midfield, it allows us to have a lot more space to play around with as well. So, team from bottom to top, it'd probably be De Gea, Wan-Bissaka.
Oh, we'll get there. Just give me information for now, quick. Just give me information.
Yeah, 5 back. That's what I'm saying. I was going, 5 back, and then I was giving the players, that's what I say.
Okay, we'll get to the players. Okay, so 5 back to play. Sure. Moloto?
I'd like to see the diamond, to be honest. I think this is a game we can test it in. I think, yes, it's Champions League, so it's important, but then we still have time to recover and make sure we qualify in the Champions League. I feel like we need to find a shape that works for us and we can play with the ball and dominate teams with. And I think what I saw from Pogba, I've been going on about this. I'm not a big fan of Pogba right now, but what I saw from him on the side of the diamond was really good. So I'd like to see him play there. I'd like to see Matic come back into the team. I don't want to give away too much of my team, but I want to see him come back to the team so you can hold the bottom of the diamond. And I just want us to be comfortable on the ball, and not be relying on the counter so much. So yeah, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, so now interesting, because now Moloto said it, I'm definitely going to confirm it. I also wanted the diamond. I was just making sure, because there was a certain area which I'll get in the predicted 11 that was very crucial to whether or not I would play the diamond. But yeah, I think I am.
I think
that. So, yeah.
To top it up, I think you said the other week, we should stop obsessing over the 3 in the front because we just don't have the 3 players. So might as well just go into the 2 and maybe revolutionize and bring back the 2 in the front. That'll be something nice.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with me these days, because even okay, this is gonna sound mad, but in Football Manager, I don't know why, but I was even looking in ways that, I don't know, there's something about having a striker partnership with two elite strikers that it. I haven't seen back when, old United days. When you had Rudy, Robin Van Persie as a striker, or Ruud van Nistelrooy, whoever he was, Andy Cole, York. It's
Lukaku and Rashford.
It's not as easy to just kick the ball up to the front to your two strikers, they run onto the ball, and they're not a simple 4-4-2. You can't really do that anymore.
No, you can't do a 4-4-2. Yeah,
there's ways you can get around it.
There is ways. So I'm going to do a diamond. So let's get into it because goalkeeper. De Gea has been doing amazing. He's been absolutely on point. I wouldn't be surprised if De Gea starts, but personally, I would like to see Dean Henderson play for against Leipzig. So for me, I want Dean Henderson in goal.
Dean Henderson has to play.
But though I have only one worry. There's a few worries. If you play Dean Henderson, he has a stinker, and it's his fault we lose. It's going to be like, why did you play him? De Gea is amazing, right? But the other problem is if we don't play Dean Henderson, my only problem is how much of match sharpness does Dean Henderson start losing, and how much of his because he needs consistent game time. This is the problem we spoke about when he came. How much does that affect his long-term goalkeeping game? So that's the only. Those are the two issues for me. So I think I kind of trust Dino. So I wouldn't mind Dean Henderson starting.
Look, I do think it's a bit sentimental, but because he did make a commitment and decided to come back to United, knowing that this could be the reality. But personally, I do want to see him play. I want to see him play a bit more in the Champions League. I mean, what's the point of having De Gea still in every game? It just seems so stupid to me. So I think he needs to play in this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just don't think this is the game for Henderson. I think this is a bit too big of an opposition right now at the moment for Dean Henderson to come back into after not playing a game in how many weeks is it now? 4, 5?
So since the cup game, since the Carabao Cup game.
It's been a long time since he's actually played in a game, and I don't think you want to go up against.
That's also another point. I understand that. Yeah, I completely understand that. Yeah. So I think maybe we are jumping the gun because Istanbul could be set in stone in Dean Henderson place. But yeah, I understand where Clayton's coming from.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'd rather start him in the Arsenal game. I'm that scared of Leipzig. I'd rather start him in Arsenal.
I hear you. The intensity of the league is very different. Look at PSG and Chelsea. I know Chelsea were amazing and they didn't score, but they were way more intense up front than PSG, which just seemed a bit lackluster. So I think that just shows you the type of football you see in the Premier League, really.
But no offense. The one counter that I can say there is Chelsea didn't really have a shot, did they? So
that's fair. But I just felt like our defense looked a bit more fragile against Chelsea than it did against PSG.
Yeah,
he's all too conservative.
I was thinking it's the story.
We'll have to see. But let us know down in the comments below whether or not who you would start and just your general predicted 11. So obviously Clayton's playing 5 at the back. So Clay, just give us your right wing back. Malota and I will give us our right backs. But Aaron Wan-Bissaka still plays for me. He's still
contest, really. I think.
Yeah. No complaints. Right, let's move on.
No way.
Clayton,
he's going to play too much this season, sadly. But what can we do, especially in the game this big?
I think there will be opportunities to rest him, but this isn't one of them. So Wan-Bissaka, no complaints. Centre back partnerships, 3 from Clay, 2 from us. I will play definitely Axel Tuanzebe will be one, and I think Harry Maguire will be the other one.
What, in your personal team or predicted more?
No, even in my personal team. This was the game where I was going to bring Maguire back. So Maguire and Axel Tuanzebe. You would have been my captain still, but
I don't know if should I give the personal one or should I just give both?
Personal for now. Yep.
Well, we know I can spoil it for you now. Molota's can say, "Ollie's going to pick Lindelof and Maguire in."
No. I think Tanzania might play this one. I think he might think it's the Champions League once again. It's not Champions League, but not the most important game. I think he will play. Who plays next to him? I wouldn't play Maguire. I wouldn't play him, but I think he's the one who's going to play. I'd play Bailly because you all know I love Bailly.
But he's injured. He's injured.
Oh, bloody hell. Never mind. What choice do I have, really?
Exactly. There's not really much.
Bloody hell, Bailly.
Boy, I should have told you earlier, but I thought you knew.
Guys are
Okay.
Yeah,
lost.
Clayton, your
Yeah.
three centre-backs.
I'm gonna stick with the same backline from PSG. In all honesty, I think Tonte,
Okay, so-
Lindelof, and Shaw would probably be our best centre back pairing.
Okay,
For the
that's
five
fair.
back.
Now, for me, I don't know what the final situation is with Alex Telles, but if he's fit, he will be my left back for this game, definitely. I think it's also a good opportunity to rest someone like Luke Shaw, who's been, he's been playing quite a lot. So
Yeah.
I think, and Alex Telles
Well
is
done.
a definite. He could even be the first team replacement. So there is no complaints there. So if he's fit, play him. If he's not fit, obviously Luke Shaw will play, and I don't mind either. But yeah, for me, left back, Alex Telles.
Yeah, I think I agree with Telles. I want to see what he has to offer, especially in the form. I want to see how he is defensively. I want to see offensively how he can be, maybe playing with Cavani, those crosses. So it'll be interesting to see. Sure, Ken Myers for the game. Maybe we'll see him against Arsenal. So Telles.
Well, guys, I think it's very clear cut who I'm
Oh,
going with.
you can't. Yeah,
Brandon Williams.
Dude,
But if
really-
we play five at the back and Telles is not fit though, it is late.
Yeah, no, Tez isn't fit. Obviously, fair enough. Then the formation falls apart because I think the five at the back is only useful with
We've done
Shaw.
it okay.
And
We've done this before, yeah, but
yeah, but
not-
I just don't think it's gonna work with Slabhead pulling in for Luke Shaw instead. I don't think that's a viable situation for us against Leipzig. So I would very much, if he's not fit, Diamond, go for it.
No, I
Have
say in
at
a
it.
situation where we actually do play Brandon
Telles.
Williams, and maybe he's better suited for that because he doesn't have to worry about the defensive responsibilities. Shaw can take care of that, and he just go forward.
But Brandon Williams, I don't think he had the defensive issues, more the offensive issues in all honesty. He lost the ball in the final
I
third a
don't
lot.
know.
Always trying to transition onto that right foot and just try and distribute, and it just took too long. That's
I
like
feel like
always
after-
where his weakness has been, I think.
I feel like after lockdown, it was just everything. Everything was just going south.
everything was off after that, but yeah.
I mean, Brandon Williams is an interesting one. I think there will
Yeah.
be certain games where I would like to see young Brandon back in the team, but this Champions League, my boy, you ain't gonna be in my Champions League squad. I'm telling you now. You
Remember
ain't
people
my
were saying
Champions
he's going to retire Shaw?
Sorry.
No, yeah, I mean, I think I might have been saying this, but
It happens.
it happens. Yeah, this is football. Not every young, amazing star that lights it up at the beginning. I mean, there's lots. I can name plenty, but that could be a video for interesting. United youngsters end up flopping. There's plenty I can name.
All of
plenty
them, basically.
Wow. I mean, that's fair. That's unfair to Lingard.
James Wilson.
It's unfair to
Well,
Lingard.
so
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
that.
Lingard's still young, okay? He still can learn. Don't
No, but
worry.
I'm just saying, when Lingard was peak, he did win us stuff, and he was very good when he was 25, 20. Obviously, recently he's been there.
I feel like our youth's been a lot of a letdown on us. But yeah, it's a topic for another day for sure.
It's yeah. We're going to diamond. Obviously, I'll just say my diamond midfield, so we can all just say our midfield straight. For me, it'll be Matic, it will be Fred, it will be Paul Pogba, and the first name on this bloody team sheet that has to be Donny van de Beek, right at the point of the diamond. Hey, it has to be Donny. If Donny doesn't play this game, whether we win or not, I might be all out. Honestly, I might be all out if Donny doesn't play this game.
Look, I don't know what my boy did. I don't know what Matic did to get dropped. So I really want to see him come back in the team because he was flawless. He was one of the most flawless players. Okay, we lost 6-1. Maybe in that game, everybody has to share the blame. But besides that, he's been really good. And I think he deserves to play. So I want Matic back in the team. Surprise! I want McTominay in the team as well. Because I feel like with the game type, I'm starting to see him come back. I'm starting to see that McTominay I saw before the injury. So I want more of that. And I'm hoping he can regain that driving power into the box that he used to have before the injury. So I want to see him play. I want Pogba on the other side of the diamond. And then, you might not like this, but I want to see Bruno play. Because
No, yeah, when Bruno plays, he plays. But you have to get Donny in this team, I think. You have to.
I think Donny must come off the bench. I mean, you can't leave it to like the last 10 minutes of the game. That's very unfair. But I would like to see Bruno start this game, and I say that because I want to see how we can play with our main players and just build something and see how we can take it going forward. So that's my midfield.
Yeah, and just to the Matic thing, he's been dropped ever since that halftime team talk. So I'm assuming
Oh yeah.
that's something actually happened with Matic and not with Bruno.
No,
Then,
Bruno.
yeah, I don't know. So I'm assuming that's where the controversial stuff happened, and maybe Matic was the one shouting at players. Even so, that's even more reason. Get in my team.
Get in my team.
Yeah, exactly.
Has he even come off the bench?
No, he's made no appearances since.
There's something that has happened. Clearly, Matic is not in Ollie's plans
That's
anymore.
insane.
And
Right
clearly,
now,
Ollie just wants to play
something's
Duracell bunnies in his midfield. That's all he wants is Duracell bunnies.
Yeah,
Jeez,
exactly.
man.
So my midfield, if I wasn't playing the 5, I think I'd like to see Matic. I think the defense is very well covered with 5.
Yeah.
So I think I want to see Pogba and Fred go back to an old partnership of sorts, and then I want to see Van de Beek in front of them.
I like that.
I think
I wouldn't mind that. I'll be honest. I don't mind. Like I said, I don't mind if Bruno plays, but my only problem is if Bruno plays, it's like Ollie only thinks Donny can play where Bruno plays. But you know,
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. Even like in Malocha's team, Bruno does play. I'm still picking Donny over McTominay. Then, like Donny for me has to start against Leipzig. He has to start
And the
against
thing
Leipzig.
with Donny, especially, I remember this coming out before he said it, before he signed, that he's one of the most versatile players out there. At
Yeah, he
Ajax, they teach you to play right back to striker. They literally make you play everywhere. They breed versatility. They make sure you understand football.
Well, look at
And-
him. Yeah, no one can say Donny
He
isn't an
understands football
intelligent
so
footballer.
well.
Yeah,
It's
he's
ridiculous.
His footballing brain is very, very.
But he can play the 8, he can play the 6, he can play the 10, he can play wide. The point is, why is
He
Ollie
can
not
play
picking
false
him?
nine. even.
He can play anywhere. That's the thing. So I don't understand why it's a 10 or broke right now for Ollie.
For me,
That's
I
what it
feel
seems.
like this might be unfair on Donny van de Beek, but I'd like him to be a bit of a game changer, you know, because I felt like we've lacked that on our bench. But at the same time, as I said earlier, you shouldn't leave it till like the last 10 minutes, because what's the point of doing that? So within the hour, he must come on. If it's not for Bruno, it must be for Pogba, it must be for Fred, but he must get minutes and be able to show us what he can do. So yeah.
Yeah. Like, what's the point of him just sitting there if he's going to play 5 minutes here or there? It's not like 5 minutes every game, because he didn't come on for the Chelsea game, where we needed him. In all honesty.
That
That looks, and you can have a little bit of a sprint here and there.
Yeah, he should be the 5 minutes. Like, we
Like-
need a goal, just sprint, go, they're dead,
I
go.
won't even lie to you boys. I can't grasp with Daniel James anymore. Honestly, my thoughts are they set in stone. I mean, the only
I think that
way
makes
it was like when I was
more
set in stone with Matic. The only way that my opinion is going to change with Daniel James if he does some other turnaround like Matic did. You know, some other turnaround where he's sitting me down and be like, "Look at me, I'm actually a baller." But doubt it. So, anyways, move on. I don't even care about Daniel James. The two striker partnerships, because we all have two striker partnerships. Obviously, one for me has to be Anthony Martial. He can't play in any other game. And Martial is our best striker, like it or not. Hate him, love him. He is our best by far, clear. He's the best striker at Manchester United. With him is very interesting. I'm gonna say if Telles plays, I think Cavani with Martial could be very, very interesting. But if Telles is not fit, Cavani needs to chow the bench whole game. Bring on my son Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood and Martial gonna light it up. So yeah, that's just me personally.
You're dropping Rashi. How could you?
No, I think Rashford needs a rest.
He needs a rest.
Yeah,
This man
Rashford.
never rests.
But Ollie, if he does go with that, it'll probably be Rashford and Martial. Just saying.
Yes.
Is Martial not back against Arsenal?
No, that's a
I think that's his
3-match
last
ban.
game. Yeah, I think that's his last game. Nah? Yeah, last game.
Pretty sure.
I last. Yeah, now you're suffering, yeah? Now you're
Yes.
suffering.
He has to play this game. He has to play this game. It's hard. Okay, I understand you now. It's hard. I play Cavani just to get in my shot, you know. Like he's probably gonna have to play on the weekend. So I'd really like to see Rashford and Martial because I think that's our best chance to win the game. But yeah, I'm okay with going Martial and see what we get there. Which is weird because they won't play again on the weekend. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so you see,
Well,
it's very weird.
Maybe.
It is, it's
Okay,
very-
this is what I'm going with. I'm going Rashi, Martial, and Cavani to come off the bench. That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
So
That's
Cavani's
fair
coming
enough.
out for the last 5 minutes, knowing all nice. Okay.
No, not like that. Just-
I'm trying, but for you
Julie
know.
scores first that you can.
Mm.
That's why I said if Telles
Well-
starts Cavani, all means it's fair. If Telles isn't fit, don't play Cavani. Play Mason Greenwood.
I swear we're gonna see James.
Oh!
I'm only out tomorrow. If I see Daniel James, I'm only out. I'm only out. I can't be out. I'm only
Dan
out.
James heading
That's
up the
okay.
top of the diamond with Martial. Oh no! Not again!
Win the game
Not
5-0.
again!
I'm out. I'm tapping out. Get him
Not
out. I'm
again.
done. I'm pressing the eject button. I'm leaving.
Oh.
No, I'm leaving. I don't care. I honestly don't care.
No, I'm just having flashbacks of Everton. It's just
Oh, actually.
so bad. Don't. Never. Oh. But I think, I don't know why, but I think the strike partnership's going to work very well. I don't know why. I just have a weird feeling about it. Regardless of Telles, I think Martial and Cavani would make a good striking partnership. I think Martial will create the opportunities for Cavani more than enough. I think he'll pull away defenders, let Cavani make the runs. I think it could be very, very good. I think it could
And
be
Martial,
really...
Martial always looks to set up people also. He's very good at that. So.
So
What I saw,
someone striker like Cavani, I think could be beneficial. Yeah, sorry.
what I saw against Chelsea was that we need to move the otherwise Cavani left isolated. We need to move it so he gets a lot of opportunities and he can do what he's best at.
Yeah,
For sure.
I think that's very interesting. So yeah, quick rundown. I said goalkeeping is very interesting. Let us know who you guys think we should start in goalkeeping. I think it's very interesting. I would give Bruno a rest, just the key parts. I think Donny has to start for me. Donny is the major point. Definitely Daniel James should not start. I wouldn't even include him on the bench. I wouldn't include Daniel James on the bench. The striker partnership is very interesting. I think if Telles plays, all means play Cavani. If Telles doesn't play, I'm very concerned about the service Cavani gets, so I will play Mason Greenwood because I think if there is two strikers who can get goals out of absolute nothing, is Anthony Martial and Mason Greenwood. Those guys thrive on creating their own chances and getting their own goals. So I think that could be very interesting. Let's talk about Leipzig's team for a little bit. Poulsen, you can expect, very, very tall, very strong, very athletic. It's not really. He is a striker, but it's not really a striker. If you know what I mean. He's not going to put some other curl into the corner or some other one.
Yeah.
He's like Peter Crouch, but way better. But he's better than Peter Crouch.
You've seen Crouch's stats. Please relax. Please respect
but
Peter Crouch.
but that's the only guy in my head. If you want to Andy Carroll or Peter Crouch type striker, Poulsen's your guy. If you're asking him to blast
Wilson
the top
isn't even
corner,
quite the target man, But
yeah, he's not. Yeah,
he's definitely more
He's
athletic.
very
He's
weird.
still
He's
more
very
close,
weird.
yeah.
But look out for Poulsen. I think that's exactly. It's another reason why you should
Danny
get higher.
Olmo. That's a
Danny
big
Olmo.
one we need to be watching for.
Danny Elmo. What Upamecano? I mean, he will be looked at a lot more because of us, because we want Upamecano, but expect to see an Axel versus Upamecano battle. Let's see who comes out on top. Because I feel like if Axel says fit, he's Upamecano. He's literally the mirror Upamecano. I think that's what it is. But I'm looking forward to see Upamecano, and I would love to see how he deals with people like Cavani, Cavani, Martial, and Mason Greenwood. Even Rashford plays, it'll be very interesting to see what Upper does. Any other key players I'm missing? I feel like I missed one. Yeah, that's the guy. Slabitzer. Watch out for him. Obviously, they don't have Timo Werner. Is there anyone else? Nkunku?
They're very strong.
Yeah, so they have talent, and let's see what obviously Nagelsmann does. Let's see how Nagelsmann tactics faces Ollie's tactics. Because this could be a point where Nagelsmann shows exactly how out of his depth Ollie is. That's what could happen. It could be such a tactical masterclass from Nagelsmann that we do you guys see why we need another manager? It could happen, or it could be like Ollie schools Nagelsmann and he's like, do you see why I'm the right man for the job? It works the other way. But no matter what happens, Daniel James somehow starts, I'm out, eject, gone, clear. I'm done, I'm out. My mind's made up. So, but yeah, that's just interesting with that. And gentlemen, obviously, score predictions to end it off. We'll start off with Maloto. I'll let Clayton go last, actually, because this is his team.
This is hard. We don't completely Leipzig or Ole. I don't think there's an easy read. I don't think you can say we're going to play on the counter and that's going to work. They might set up to nullify that and them themselves play on the counter. So I feel like we might struggle in this game. If we have to take the ball, I feel like what you do in these type of games, you say we're Manchester United and we're just going to go at them. And I just don't know if we're able to do that. I don't know if we can. So, oh gosh, it's hard. I'm going to go for 2-1 loss.
2-1 loss?
Yeah.
Come on!
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I have to.
I'll let Clayton can go last, but I think if Ollie plays my team, we will win 2-1. I think if Ollie does some other shenanigans he does and plays the 4-2-3-1 with James and Mata, DONNY and just Martial there, I think we do lose that game, definitely. You know, Fred and Common, I think we lose that game. But if he plays my team, or a team similar to my team, I think we will win 2-1. So yeah, that's just me. Clayton?
I feel like we've been a bit unlucky with our chances of late, so I think we could score a few more today than just 1 or 2. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a very, very tough competition, and it fully depends on Ali to literally take the wheel right now. Because if he just goes, I'm going to play on the counter attack like I have for the past 10 games in a row now, like I was just going to read school. Simple as that. And I'm just, yeah. This is going to be a really good game, I think, to say the least. And I'm torn between like a 2-1 or a 3-2, I think. And those are both losses.
Oh! Wow!
I don't see us winning. I don't know why. I just don't see us winning this game.
Jeez, my life.
I'm sorry, I don't see us winning, but I think there's going to be goals.
There we go, viewers. I'm the only guy who predicted us to something.
And this really happened, so hopefully because this happened, we're going to win.
I know.
Yep.
I mean, if you like...
A Jinx Leipzig, good for it. Let's go, let's go.
I mean, if you like Jinx, jinxing, you know, stereotypes and all. Not stereotypes. What's the word?
Superstitions.
Superstitions, that's the word. Superstitions and all that. Well, there we go. For me, there is no such thing, you know. I mean, whether or not I say this should happen, it shouldn't be a reason why Manchester United don't or do perform. But like I do say, I stand by it. I'll just, you know, re-emphasize. If he picks this team coming to me, I feel very confident we win 2-1. If he doesn't, though, and all he does his other things, you know, just some other Ollie decisions, you know, because, you know, his decision making is probably the worst aspect of him. But, so, you know, it's all on Ollie.
Except for the PSG game, guys.
Freaking all on Ollie. Yeah.
It is.
Literally all on Ollie and what he puts out there. And then we'll have to see how the game goes. But if I see a lineup like the Newcastle or the Chelsea lineup, you're getting smacked. I'm getting smacked. But, gentlemen, that's been your Manchester United versus RB Leipzig match preview. We will be speaking and discussing how the match goes on Wednesday for the match reaction. So please make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe if you are new. Smash the like button. Comment down below your predicted 11 as well as your predicted scores. Hopefully we see a lot more predicted United wins in the comments below.
Yeah.
And turn on notifications so you don't miss out any future videos. And we appreciate each and every one of you. And from me, Maloto, that's all for now. And we will check you in the next one.